This is one of the two central commercial districts in downtown Suzhou, the Xilu commercial area. Just look at it, it's so desolate it's almost unrecognizable. This is Fenglong Hui in the Suzhou Industrial Park, a shopping mall. Let's go inside and take a look. This is Yuanrong Plaza, which is closed for upgrades and we don't know when it'll reopen. Across from Yuanrong Plaza is Juguang Department Store, and they're struggling to stay afloat. What's going on with Huanyu Hui? Many stores closed down and changed stores in just 6 months, and the brands they replaced are hard to describe. Suzhou used to be a world factory. However, due to the economic downturn in mainland China and the shift of supply chains abroad, many large companies have relocated in recent years, including Fujitsu, Samsung Electronics, and Hitachi Display. Suzhou was once a central hub for Taiwanese investment, and Taiwanese companies, primarily in the electronics manufacturing industry, have also moved away. Even those unable to relocate have largely transferred production capacity, with factories either laying off employees or reducing hiring. After many factories moved out, there were no more rental houses in Suzhou, and many shops on the streets were closed. It feels like the Tianhong shopping center in Wujiang, Suzhou is also on the verge of going cold. Malls are having a hard time, there are hardly any people here. Jiangsu province's Suzhou has long been known as a new first-tier city and was once hailed as the #1 manufacturing hub in China. It attracted a large influx of foreign investment, especially from Taiwanese companies, and its foreign trade exports at one point were second only to Shenzhen. And its GDP approached Guangzhou, ranking among the top 4 in China. However, in recent years, Suzhou's economy has taken a serious hit as major Japanese and Taiwanese companies, such as Samsung and Sony, have relocated their factories to countries like Vietnam. This shift has led to widespread job losses and a significant departure of migrant workers. Now, Suzhou's once vibrant streets are visibly quieter. Many bustling commercial areas have become desolate and numerous shopping malls have shut down. The neighboring city of Kunshan, often referred to as Little Taipei due to its large Taiwanese population, mirrors this decline. Long-term Taiwanese residents in Kunshan almost outnumber locals and other immigrants, and the situation in Kunshan is similar to that in Suzhou. Today, let's discuss these topics. Have you noticed this year that foot traffic in Suzhou, whether in industrial parks, new districts, or even in other areas, has dropped significantly compared to previous years? Shopping malls are practically empty, and hotels are practically empty. Even on Saturdays and Sundays, many places are nearly empty. In the past, everywhere you went, there were crowds of people, all working people. Now, no matter where you go, there are almost no lines. Many stores and shopping malls, including those along the streets, have closed down, especially on Guangqian Street and Xilu Road. You can see that many shops in the old streets are being sold. And in many commercial streets across the districts, you can see signs announcing the sale of many shops along the roads. I'm now at XX Plaza in Suzhou Industrial Park. Let's take a look at the storefront situation here. This is the kind of shop that's already shut down. Same here and here too. If it weren't for the Sam's Club nearby, I'd guess even more stores would have closed. Over here as well, closed. Maybe the mall wouldn't call them closed. They might prefer to say under renovation or under adjustment. It's hard to believe that such a prime commercial area is empty. Honestly, I don't feel happy at all right now. This is Sheitong Old Street, one of the top 3 commercial areas in Suzhou Industrial Park. With such a great environment and such a great location, and yet at this time, 11:30 in the morning, not a single person in sight. Just think about the shop owners here. They have to pay their staff, cover the rent, and recoup the money they invested in renovations. How can they possibly make a profit like this? No wonder these storefronts keep changing hands every year or two. Even those who've held on for 3 or 4 years are just barely hanging in there. Suzhou really doesn't have any nightlife. I just got off work and went to the mall to grab dinner at around 8:50 p.m. One restaurant had already closed and another said their staff was off duty. I finally found a place and the owner told me, "We close at 9 o'clock. You've got 5 minutes to order. If you can't decide in 5 minutes, then sorry, we can't serve you." I'm not exaggerating. The mall I went to is in Suzhou's city center. I remember going to the newly opened Longfor Mall in Guangzhou district before. By 8 p.m., the whole B1 floor was practically dark. There was hardly anything left to eat. I still remember the first day I arrived in Suzhou to look for an apartment. It was between 6:30 and 7 p.m. I called 5 different agents and all 5 told me they were off work. One of them even scolded me saying, "Why didn't you look earlier? Do you know what time it is? Everyone's off work and going to dinner." Looking for a job in Shanghai, Suzhou, and Kunshan is truly frustrating. Supposedly, with its developed economy, job opportunities should be plentiful. But the reality is, electronics factory wages are ridiculously low. Only $3.10 an hour for a 2-shift shift, and only $3 an hour for a long day shift. Even with such low wages, they're still selective. Many factories only hire women. Men don't even get interviewed. Shanghai isn't short of general workers right now. As soon as someone announces a job opening, hundreds of people immediately show up for interviews because many people are stuck in the area. Everyone wants to come to Shanghai to make a living, but job opportunities are pitifully scarce. Finding a job is truly difficult these days. As a true Suzhou local, my cousin told me that she's barely getting by these days. If it weren't for some people making a bit of money from housing demolitions, a lot of locals would probably be lucky to afford 2 plain steamed buns a day. What on earth has happened to Suzhou? One blogger said she had a friend who wanted to open a restaurant. She tried to talk her out of it, but couldn't stop her. In the end, her friend ended up taking a considerable loss. I told her at the time that the overall environment was bad and that the restaurant business was a no-go, but she refused to believe me and insisted on trying it herself. Now her hair is falling out in clumps. She lost 1 million yuan in 5 months. No one can accept that. Think about it, the streets around Guangzhou Street used to be so glorious. Young people today probably can't experience that kind of shopping. There's not a trace of life here, and the whole of Suzhou is like this. When even ordinary people in a city are afraid to spend, how can they expect the city to develop? It's closed down again. You see, I might be the most disastrous boss in Kunshan. I've started more than a dozen businesses and now I'm still in debt, millions of RMB. This time I used a credit card. I remember my first business was at the Yulong market near my home. It was packed. Seeing so many people, I thought I could sell something and make some money. I started selling some imported pants and it became a huge hit. In 2 months, I made $1,400. I felt like I was going crazy. That was in 2002, and $1,400 in 2 months was a lot. When I got home, I felt like I could even add 2 eggs to a pancake or a glass of juice. But then, due to policy changes, street vendors were no longer allowed, and I didn't know what to do. I eventually found a licensed stall on Chengchuan Road and Renmin Road and set up a shop there. That's where I made my first absolute fortune, buying cars, houses, and getting married. Back then, I was selling socks. At my peak, I could make 200,000 to 300,000 yuan a month. I remember collecting cash at night and counting money until my hands cramped. The blogger explained that with the deteriorating economic environment and the rise of e-commerce, Kunshan's business community gradually declined and business deteriorated. At his lowest point in a month, he couldn't even make a gross profit of $1,400 and couldn't even afford the rent. The blogger still wanted to start a new business and make a comeback. However, many netizens left comments urging caution. A Shanghai netizen commented, "I initially thought just like you, but ended up owing tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands, and now millions. Now I can only work honestly as a security guard."
今天又是没面试的一天。
Today was another day without an interview. Actually, my previous company was close to home, and when things were running smoothly, I could earn $700 a month, which was pretty good for our small county town. However, the market began to decline at the start of last year, affecting the company. In the second half of the year, I worked for only half of the month each month, and my salary was reduced accordingly, and the situation only got worse. So I resigned in February of this year and planned to look for a job in Suzhou, figuring Suzhou's economy was developed and there would be plenty of opportunities. But after 2 months, I still haven't found a job. I was too optimistic back then. I'm not sure if that was the right decision. Now, I worry every day about not being able to find a job. I don't know what to do anymore. Actually, my wife has already resigned. The factory she worked at had both hourly and piecework, but piecework didn't pay much. Sometimes when there was no piecework, she'd take on hourly work. My wife took 6 or 7 days off last month, including 5 days for the May Day holiday and 2 days off in between. She earned around $640, and after deducting $140 for the 5 social insurances and 1 housing fund, she was left with $500. Her salary is pretty standard in Kunshan. An average factory worker makes around $600. But she did not deduct the insurance. Even without it, it would still be around $600. That's the average salary for an average Kunshan employee. I shared this video to highlight that the wages in Kunshan are indeed not very high. This factory is about to move to Vietnam. What's going on in Suzhou? What went wrong? We frequently interact with clients, including those who work in factories, and we often hear that their factories are relocating to Southeast Asia or other provinces. We often hear such voices from clients. Currently, there are basically no factories in Suzhou that offer summer jobs. Many factories in Suzhou are no longer hiring. If you're already employed and can handle the work, just don't wander around. Work for a while. If you haven't left yet and are still in your hometown, I'm not saying you can't go. Before leaving, you must carefully consider whether you can handle the assembly line, wearing a dust-free suit, standing on the shift, having a boss who's a boss, and a low wage. If you can't accept any of these, then definitely don't leave. Leaving will only lead to stagnation. Don't come to Suzhou for student or summer jobs. Today is June 25th and it's already late. If you're still looking for summer jobs during this time, I advise you to stop. Those who can't find summer jobs are stuck here. Suzhou's cost of living is still relatively high. If you can't find a job, you'll end up spending a fortune. It's better to stay home and enjoy your summer vacation. You might even find yourself unable to find a job in Suzhou, and out of desperation, you'll seek help from scammers. They'll promise high wages, new employee bonuses, reimbursed travel expenses, or easy monthly incomes of over 10,000 yuan. Seriously, don't believe any of these job postings. They're all scams, and you'll end up losing everything. Suzhou isn't quite as great as people might imagine, so I'd still recommend that college graduates consider working in first-tier cities like Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, or Shenzhen. Suzhou may be the most economically powerful prefecture-level city, but its GDP mainly relies on high-tech industries, such as foreign-funded companies and manufacturing. When it comes to the actual tertiary sector, like the service industry, average wages in Suzhou are pretty low. For example, many service jobs pay around $600 a month, and in some places, even recent college graduates are only offered $500. So overall salaries in the city aren't that high. You'll generally find better pay in first-tier cities. If you're not a high-tech professional or a graduate from a top university, coming to Suzhou for work might not get you a decent salary. It's worth considering opportunities in one of the first-tier cities instead. The latest way to die in 2025 is coming to Suzhou to look for a job. You're not at peace until you get there, but once you arrive, all you can think about is dying. You can't find a job, but heading back home without earning a single cent feels shameful too. So all you can do is go to one factory interview today, another one tomorrow, running around from district to district. And when the interviews don't pan out, it's just wasted time. I believe this is the reality facing most workers coming to Suzhou in search of employment right now. There's no other way. The market is saturated. Good companies don't lack applicants. Take the industrial park here, for example. If a company with a slightly good reputation announces they're hiring, it's immediately flooded with applicants. The pass rate for interviews might be just 20%, yet people still line up to give it a shot. I completely understand how everyone feels. No one wants to be stuck in Suzhou like this, but to be brutally honest, the job market here is stagnant. There aren't many good companies left, nothing worth being picky about for us workers. That's all for today. If you enjoy our content, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment, and share it with a friend. We appreciate your support, and we'll see you next time.